They kicked him out of the boardroom without knowing he owned half the company. Every night for nearly 5 years, James cleaned that building. He scrubbed floors, wiped glass walls, emptied trash bins in silence. The executives never learned his name. To them, he was just the janitor. They'd walk past him in their $1,000 suits without a single glance. But what they didn't know was that James watched everything, and he remembered every face. See, James wasn't just there to clean. During the day, he lived a completely different life. Quietly, with a few partners, James had invested in small businesses and eventually tech startups. One of those startups had just merged with the very corporation whose floors he mopped every night. And as part of the acquisition, James had been offered a massive equity stake, making him one of the largest shareholders in the entire company. Still, he kept his janitor job, not because he needed it, but because he wanted to see how people treated the ones they thought were beneath them. One Monday morning, everything changed. The company had hit a crisis. Numbers were tanking. Investors were pulling out. The board was desperate. A shareholders' meeting was called to discuss a possible restructuring. James showed up early, this time not in his janitor uniform, but in a clean-cut charcoal suit, briefcase in hand. As he entered the boardroom, the room fell silent. A few executives blinked. One of them stood up and said, "Maintenance isn't allowed in here. Please leave." James calmly replied, "I'm here for the meeting. My name's on the list." They laughed. Another board member waved him off. "Look, we don't have time for this. Security." But then the CEO, flipping through the meeting agenda, froze. His eyes widened. "Wait," he whispered. "That's James Holloway. He's our new investor." Silence. The same men who mocked him now shifted in their seats, stunned. The CEO stood up and extended a hand, but James didn't take it. He walked to the head of the table, opened his briefcase, and laid out a full turnaround plan, something he had quietly worked on for weeks. He spoke with clarity, with vision, and with more insight than anyone else in the room. By the end of the meeting, even the skeptics were nodding. Within months, the company rebounded. New leadership was installed. James became a full-time partner, and those who once dismissed the janitor now answered to him. The mop? He kept it, hung it on his office wall as a reminder. Never forget where you came from. Never forget how they treated you when they thought you were nothing. Because sometimes the man they ignore in the hallway is the one writing the checks behind the scenes.